In this season of The Big Talk, you are going to have access to the most incredible speakers who recently performed at the virtual showcase, which is the culmination of the Big Talk Academy, my 12-week signature speaker training. Be sure to watch every single one of these speakers in this series because they are all equally as inspiring, entertaining, and powerful. And by sharing their important messages, they can change and even save a life. Enjoy. Wendy Christie. She trained as a pianist in her early years before realizing how the power of words can transform and shape others in the way music can transform and move an audience. Currently living and working at one of New Zealand's finest locations among the plains and the alpine regions of the South Island of New Zealand, Wendy has sought opportunities to speak about the power of music in education systems often founded on economic interests in New Zealand and around the world. Let's welcome to the stage, everyone, Wendy Christie with Michelangelo's Missive.
One day in my life, I stood before an audience with a 9-foot concert grand piano beside me and an orchestra behind me. And above me was a row of spotlights. The audience rose up and a big wall in front of me, and all I could see was a rows and rows of pink faces. As I stood there, waiting for the applause to subside, I had taken a bow, and what filled me in that moment was the whole sense of Mozart's music. I was just about to perform Mozart's Piano Concerto number 19 in F major. It's in these times that something takes over, way beyond what I can understand. As time went by, I realized that this music was so powerful. I won the Kincaid Alexander Piano Concerto that night, Auckland's top competition for young pianists. And I decided to take this quality that I didn't understand into the New Zealand education system. At the end of 3 years training, the Auckland College of Education didn't seem to recognise this wordless quality that music brought into the lives of children. Eventually I started to write about it because I found that writing was able to access the language of music, which was only accessible through a stage performance. As I wrote, I began to explain how music was powerful in impacting children's lives in ways that the education system often missed. At the end of 3 years training, the Auckland College of Education found no need for me, and without giving a very clear reason, refused that I would graduate, and I found myself unable to work in a career which I felt passionate about. Not knowing what else to do, I joined the queue at the Work and Income Office in New Zealand and harboured away a language inside that could reach people, because I didn't know who would understand. I looked down at my clothes and saw that there were holes in my trousers because I had no money now. I became a beneficiary. The idea of having a musical talent became a shame. Not inside of me, but amongst people who couldn't comprehend how it was that you could bring Mozart out and Beethoven out and Bach out into the psychology and the souls of the children who were being trained for one purpose only, and that was to become fit for the global world of work. The inner life of children remained untouched. I began a different channel in my life because I couldn't find an avenue or an open door for this passion inside. I hid away and I stopped talking to anybody except surface talk and lies about myself. I became very isolated. Eventually, I became the program manager for an after-school care program and met a little boy of 8 who had been abused, abominably abused at the age of 2. He was very dangerous to be around. And one day he held a carving knife to my jaw. When I looked into his eyes, I knew he wasn't a violent child. This is a child who needed to be heard. He was a child whose soul had been buried in violence. Michael's not the only one. There are many children in the education system who are not being heard, who are very ordinary children, who need to be heard and not just conformed into an examination-rich performing environment in which their souls and their individuality somehow gets left behind. Eventually, I gained my master's degree in education and wrote a paper for the 34th World Conference of Music Education in Helsinki, which was held last year. Because of COVID, we weren't able to go. The subject was children's well-being. When I met Tricia, I found for the first time ever that I was no longer feeling alone. The isolation was suddenly touched. I knew I had friends around me. To give this speech now, to be able to help one child who felt the way that I did, that's why I'm doing it. I hope that there are other opportunities to reach governments, to reach other people in education.
If you desire to be on the virtual showcase stage, hop on over to thebigtalkacademy.com and register now for my 12-week signature speaker training, where you can become certified by the Big Talk Academy and perform on my virtual showcase stage. And if you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscription button and notification bell, and definitely share your thoughts in the comments. I will respond to each and every one of you. Big love, everybody.